Hey guys, welcome to my live at lunch. Today I wanted to show you a technique that's useful for stamp sets like the Beautiful Autumn stamp set or the Hippo Happiness stamp set, where you have to do two-step stamping. So you'll have a solid image and then another image that is more detailed. So let's dive in. So I'm playing with Beautiful Autumn. And then I'm also going to do a fun technique where I have my card put together and I'll have a colored mat, but my images will go between this card and the card base. So to do that, we have to remove the mat and set it aside. And then normally I tape down my work paper because I do need to be able to stamp off, so hopefully I won't wiggle it too much. We'll find out. So I'm using tons of different colors. So I've got Crumb Cake and Early Espresso and Blackberry Bliss and Cajun Craze and Mint Macaron and Pretty Peacock out. So you will, oh, and Mossy Meadow. We're going to pull out Mossy Meadow too because it's my favorite color and I love it. For those of you who are attending Stamp Camp in a couple of weeks, you might want to know that. I will remind you at Stamp Camp. So let me try to clear a little bit more space. So I have Stamp Camp stuff everywhere. And while we're talking about Stamp Camp, tomorrow is the last day to register so that I can get all of the supplies. And I totally just touched the ink pad. So I can get all of the supplies ordered and delivered on time so I can get the project kits sent out. So if you are wanting to register for Stamp Camp and you have not yet, you might want to do that today or tomorrow at the very latest. I do have 2 spots left that need to be filled. I would love to max out on capacity. That would make me so incredibly happy. So if you haven't already, register for Stamp Camp. It's going to be so much fun. I have stuff everywhere. But let me see. We'll slide in a little sneak peek. All right. So we're just going to slide this into the view. And that is part of one of our projects. Okay. So sneak peek. It's going to be a blast. I've shared the projects with a few of my demo friends and they're like, those are so fun. And then I couldn't help it and I shared with my sister who is joining the camp and she's now super excited instead of just really excited. So that makes me happy. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have just a few things left to do to prepare for it. But we're getting there. We're so close. And I have touched all of the ink pads now, and hopefully I don't mess up my project. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment because I don't want to accidentally leave no space for it. So I'm going to stamp that and put it in Blackberry Bliss because I don't plan on using that color anywhere else. And there are like so many different camps of people. Some will put it on the right side, some will put it right in the middle, some will put it on the left side. And it really depends on the project for me where I put my focal point for my card. But for this one, I want to do it, I think I want to put it on the right side of my card and in that bottom 2/3 of it. So let's get that on there. And really I should be using another mat underneath here to make the images come out more clean, but it's buried. So I will stamp right there. Alright, so I have this piece of cardstock. I have just a little piece. It is, I don't remember. I will post the measurements. Ooh, I can find out. I have a ruler. We have the technology. Alright, so it is also like on my grid paper, so I could have like just told you. It is 4 6/8 by, I'm just gonna pick that up, 3 5/8. And then the matte color to go underneath it is just slightly bigger. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I really love this one flower. So there's a few different ways we can do this, and I'll stamp on this paper first. So you can stamp in full strength with one color, and then use another color, and then you line up your design over the top of the solid image. And if it's just slightly off, like, it's okay. So you just stamp over that. So I've got my Mossy Meadow over my Mint Macaron, which actually looks pretty stunning. I like that. Or, let me clean that off. What you can do is stamp off and then stamp on your project, and then using the same color take that detailed image and stamp over it. So then you have the same color on the same color. So you can tell it's a little bit different, and I like how both of them looked. With the Hippo Happiness set, my one of my sisters was doing that one, and she did with the butterfly, she did, I think it was light, the purple, a Gorgeous Grape, and then she stamped over it with one of the blues. Maybe it was Night of Navy. I don't remember which blue she used, but it was stunning. Oh my goodness. Like, I absolutely loved what she did with that. So, and she's like obsessed with hippos, so I got that set because of her. And I love it. So, alright, so back to this project. So, when I put it down, it moved again. So what we're gonna do is, I liked the look with the Mint Macaron in full strength and then the Mossy Meadow over it. So we're gonna do that on here. So I'm gonna stamp this in a couple of spots, and I want it to stamp over that edge. So you'll notice it stamped, and I didn't quite get that edge there. So I'm gonna come back over and just push there. So I'm going to do, oh, it shifted. Okay, that's all right. We can just move it back. So I'm holding this tight so that it doesn't wiggle too much. Then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to stamp a third one. So we're going to use, I usually use the rule of 3, just to make things look symmetric. And alright, now ink up our Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to stand up for this part because I always get it a little wonky if I don't. So I'm using my Mossy Meadow, and I'm just stamping over that, trying to get it as close as I can, and I inked my thumb. Since I'm using white cardstock, I know I will inevitably get my thumb on my project. See, just right there, we're gonna have to put something there. This is off, but that's okay, it adds character. Alright, so we have that image. Then I want to put some of, it almost looks like a cattail. I'm going to do that one in Cajun Craze. Coming in, you have it come in here. I'm going to put one here. I think I'm going to do 5 of these. This one I'm going to, how do I want to do that one? Don't be afraid to move around a little bit to fit stuff in. So that's 5 there. So I usually do 3 or 5 of a given image. And then we're going to put some pine cones. So the pine cones, we're going to do an early espresso. Ooh, yeah, we'll do those in early espresso. So for this one, I want the, oh, that's Blackberry Bliss, darn it. I mean, a Blackberry Bliss pine cone might be kind of fun. So I'm going to actually stamp this one off. And then stamp. We're going right over that green spot because I needed to cover it up. I'm going to shift this back to where it's supposed to be. Because my next pine cone I'm going to have go off the edge over here. Have that one up there. This one we're doing 5 because I started stamping funny. Alright, stamp off there. Actually, we're gonna do 4. I'm gonna break my rule. Alright, so now we're gonna do our detailed pine cone. I'm gonna hold that steady, stamp down. See, if my paper would have been taped down, I couldn't turn the paper. I'll clean that off. And then I want to do an acorn. We're adding a little brown. So the top of my acorn I'm going to do, oh goodness, okay. For this one, I want to stamp it backwards. So I'm going to stamp my detailed part first in my dark outline color. And then I'm going to come back and fill it in because I don't want to stamp the image too far off. So, alright, with these little images, I only have 2 little blocks, and so it makes it hard to have everything completely prepped. So I'm going to do the top first and come in. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to line up my solid image with the outline. I'm going to get all of those in. Make sure you can see. So this kind of eliminates some of that coloring that you would need to do. I mean, you could color it if you really wanted to. And then I'm going to take crumb cake to fill in the bottom part. Make sure I'm holding it the right way. So I'm going to stamp off and then come in and stamp. You can see where I have wiggled my paper. Oh, that didn't. Okay. And then I'm going to add just a couple of fall leaves. And we will put those ones in. I think I want to use a skinnier leaf. So I'm just kind of making a little scene to make the card pop. So we're going to do those in Cajun Craze as well. So I'm using my long skinny curvy leaf, I'm not even sure what to call it, the long leaf. So we're gonna and I'm going to make these look like they're falling. So I'm stamping off because I want them to be the same color, and adding direction, like changing up that direction a little bit, just adds to the card. So we're going to curve that one that way. That's 4. Where can I fit a 5th one in? I don't know if I reasonably can. So I'm going to just hold this steady here. We're just going to do a little bit right there. Then we're going to come in with that detailed piece and stamp over the top of it. I've noticed I am kind of obsessive with this stamp set. It is so much fun. Like, I liked it, and then I got it and I started using it, and I have just been like completely obsessive with it. I've used it for so many different things. Alright, where did I set? There it is. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, just to finish off this card, is I'm going to move this out of the way. So I'm going to place this piece on my background, push my stamp sets out of the way so that I don't make a mess. So I'm just adding some adhesive to the back of the little white piece of cardstock. I'm going to add or stick that to my colored mat, and then I wanted to add some twine to this. So this is just some linen thread, and I'm actually going to wrap it around the card a couple of times. So I'm just going to hold it here and then wrap. And I just want to tie this in a knot. Sometimes I'll do a bow, sometimes I'll do a knot. Today we're going to tie a knot. If I can hold my twine the right way, my knot will go so much better. And I just want that to be about right here. Just tie that tight, and then trim the edges. So I tend to just wrap, and that's how I measure, rather than like, oh, I need 6 inches of this ribbon or twine. So I'm just going to adjust that to right where I want it. Separate this a little so it looks kind of like an X. And then I'm going to use dimensionals. Just going to add a few. I'm going to put one right here. That'll help hold that twine in place. And then each of the 4 corners. And I've found if I put 1 or 2 dimensionals in the center, it helps it so that the middle doesn't look like it's sunk in. So we've got that. Pull off the backings. Funny story, I went to the grocery store last weekend, and I go to get in the car, and I'm like, what the heck is on me? And it was a dimensional backing. So, alright, so now for the super tricky part. Now we have to line this up with our stamped images. So you will have a little bit of overlap, but it will mostly fit. And there is just a fun festive card, festive for fall. So I hope that you liked it. I'm going to come back in later today and look for comments, and one of my commenters will get this card in the mail. So if you want this card, just comment, say hi, or love it, or what in the world were you thinking? And I will send you the card. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye, guys.